I think his priorities do reflect things that are going to impact young people in a positive way. The recovery package was a huge opportunity for young people to be able to access jobs that historically they would not have been able to access previously. And I think his investments in things like community college, especially in this economic climate, is something that disproportionately can help young people pull themselves out of maybe their circumstances and moving into a job that can be something that they can have for a very, very long time. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think there's a lot of barriers, though, in terms of how we will actually access those jobs. So will we actually have an opportunity to apply for those jobs, or are those just going to go to contractors? Will we have any money to actually put forth to a community college when the community college has still gone up in like 150% in their tuition? So I think there's what President Obama has done, which is more than a lot of other presidents, let's be very honest, is he's opened the door, and I think it's up to us really to push the door in and be able to get our folks then in through the door. It's kind of like sneaking into a club. Don't
I have no idea where you're talking about.
Absolutely, but that's ultimately what I think. I think his platform is reflective of things that could positively impact our generation, and we just need to push the door a little bit further and make sure that our foot's in the door, and then once the foot's in the door, you know, kind of wedge it with the hips, if you know what I mean, and then once we have that door open, make sure that it's not just us that is going through that door, but it's a whole long line behind us, and making sure that it's not just the people who normally have access to the club because they know the owner and the bouncer, but it's the people who are actually wanting to go into the club.
I'm not as unhappy with Obama on his delivery for the youth as other things. I think he is fighting. He is fighting to really make student loans easier to get and make them cheaper to get, which is something I really think is important, because letting students and young people have access to education is key. I would like to see him do a lot more to extend the GI Bill. You know, we have so many young men and women who are in uniform and they're dedicating so much to the country. I'd like to see him give them the same resources that they had at other times in American history. I think giving a little bit more voice to youth issues maybe would be something he could do, just actually speaking about them more. You know, I know that he cares about them, but it's not something he really, you know, stumps on and uses that bully pulpit for. So if he just sort of raised the issue of the problems facing the youth, I think that would be something powerful.
Really, one of the most important things is healthcare. I mean, people just don't realize how, you know, short end of the stick we get as young people in the issue of healthcare. I mean, we usually don't have very good jobs when we're just starting out, so we don't get employer healthcare. We usually don't have jobs that pay very well, so we can't buy our own healthcare. You know, and things like Medicare and Medicaid aren't really accessible to us. So it's like these things, and the problem is that people don't realize is most people die in the early ages of life. Like, most people die in car accidents. Most people die from, you know, diseases when they're below the age of 30. I mean, so like, we have this whole generation of people who are at risk and yet don't have access. You know, so that's probably the main thing I would say. I mean, there's other stuff like, you know, I love it if my, you know, tuition bills were less. You know, that'd be great.
That would be great.
But, you know, that's something I can, you know, put off a little bit. I think healthcare would probably be a big thing, for me at least.
Would you mind saying your name and where you're from?
Oh, I'm John Cole. I'm a student at University of Pittsburgh,
Awesome.
So,
thank you so much.
One thing I'd like to see Obama and the Dems do for young people is create comprehensive, healthy sex education in schools. Mandated standard curriculum that teaches not only how sex works and how safe sex works, but also that sex can be pleasurable. You know, a healthy sex education in public schools would be a huge start to repaying the youth vote.
I think the Obama administration should give back to young people a clear path for how to break through the logjam of our current legislative system. So how do you really proactively create a future that jives with our younger generation? I think Obama has the skills and the ability to communicate that both to the younger generation and to the older generation, to let the younger generation in and help them develop the policies and even the culture that will help us get to where we all need to go as a country. I think that the older generation has just sort of lost touch with what we really need as a civilization, frankly. And I think Obama is the perfect intergenerational mediator to make that process flow smoothly, peacefully, and as quickly as we really need it to happen.
They need to deliver to young people meaningful health care reform that will assure them that they can take jobs that they love, they can have careers that they love because they don't have to worry about doing anything that will give them health care. That's fundamental and absolutely necessary.
I think that they should give us comprehensive sex education, not abstinence only. I think they should give us college tuition breaks. I don't want to have to pay $40,000 for a college education, which is required $40,000 a year. I want the administration to give us hope that yes, we can change, and they did that during the campaign very well. I'm very disillusioned with even the president breaking promises or not getting things done as quickly as possible. That's not to say I don't support the president. I definitely support the president, but sometimes it seems like, oh, it's just politics as normal. I want to change politics as normal. I don't want to see Clinton era, Bush era, Reagan era politics go into the Obama administration.
The best thing the president can do for young people is show leadership and show courage in what he does. He promised to bring us a different kind of Washington, one where activism and regular people mattered and not big money and lobbyists. And so far, he's not delivering. He needs to show that individual people can make a difference.
All right, President Obama, we came through for you, so you need to come through for us. And that means living up to what you said on the campaign trail, which is clean energy initiatives, healthcare reform, immigration reform, and for God's sake, please bring back Arrested Development.